When Obsidian Entertainment showcased footage from its upcoming RPG, The Outer Worlds, at E3 this year, it captured the imaginations of the media and fans. It had a bright aesthetic, an obvious and quirky sense of humor, and of course, it was in space, and who doesn't love space? Another thing people noted was how much this reminded them of another Obsidian title, Fallout New Vegas. To give you an idea of how much this comparison has been made, let's just say that Windows Central wasn't the first place to compare The Outer Worlds to Fallout New Vegas. We're certainly one of many. It feels cheap to compare one game to another because each game should stand on its own merits. However, it's been a while since Obsidian tackled an open world RPG, and newer Fallout efforts like Fallout 4 failed to capture the humor and well-crafted story beats that Obsidian introduced in its entry. Obsidian has made some great games in the interim, but nothing like New Vegas. At least, not another open world RPG anyway. The Outer Worlds feels like a return to form in that sense. It's an open world RPG with an underlying narrative that plays on questionable morality. It has a dark sense of humor and features a protagonist that's less of a chosen one hero and more of a person who's there for convenience's sake. However, I was able to play a couple hours of The Outer Worlds at a recent event and found that while the similarities are apparent and most certainly welcome, they're also not overwhelming. This game looks like it'll be able to stand on its own thanks to a number of elements, although I'm going to highlight the dialogue system here, which is loose and full of fun options. You can be roguish, standoffish, or be a downright jerk if you want to. This will have an impact on how people, including the factions in the game, will see you, and it can be negative, but it can also be positive. You can have free reign of how you want to build your character, for example. It can also give you some sweet rewards. I'm the type of person who puts a lot of points into intelligence and conversation skills, so I got more options to choose from in certain interactions. I even got to punch a creepy guy in the face, and it was awesome. The combat here is pretty basic, although you have plenty of weapons to choose from. You'll also be able to put points into what weapons you prefer, such as melee or long-range weapons. You'll also be able to pick up a number of unique weapons as you play. In my playthrough, I switched between a plasma sword that dissolved enemies in one fell swoop, or a flamethrower, which does as flamethrowers do. Besides weapons, there is just a lot of loot to pick up. This world uses bits as currency, and you can find those after just about every fight, but you can also find armor, medicine, and food, all scattered in bins around the landscape. I'm a big fan of looters, and this definitely scratched an itch. There is so much to talk about here, and if you want more, you can read my preview over at Windows Central. But I think you can see just from the conversations and the combat system that there's something familiar. There's nothing wrong with having a system that works, and The Outer Worlds takes some of New Vegas' best bits and wraps it up in a new skin. It's obviously too early to say how The Outer Worlds will do, but I think New Vegas fans will find it to be a worthy successor. Plus, did I mention you can punch a creepy guy in the face? Yeah, you can punch a creepy guy in the face.